Hello grade 8s, welcome to today's lesson about refraction. This is probably one of my favorite lessons that I get to do every year I teach grade 8 science, and unfortunately this year I don't get to teach it to you directly, but we can still have some fun with it through this video. Now I like to tell you guys a little story about refraction to help you learn how light bends when it hits different densities. Now remember, like we learned earlier, light bends when it goes through transparent objects that have different densities. Today we're going to be looking at air on the land and water under the sea. And our characters are going to be Prince Eric and Ariel from the classic Disney movie, The Little Mermaid. So sit back, enjoy the story. This is required for your online learning. You can't just exit out. But sit back, enjoy, have some laughs, and hopefully you learn along the way. Now, on to our story. So, like all classic Disney tales, they live happily ever after, right? Spoiler free if you haven't seen the movie, even though it's over 20 years old. At the end of the movie, Prince Eric and Ariel fall in love and live happily ever after. Unfortunately, that doesn't last very long. You know, there were some issues. They only knew each other for about a week tops before they got married. Ariel hadn't even spoken yet before they got married. You know, it was a bit of a rushed marriage. And unfortunately, it didn't work out and they got divorced. I'm very sorry. So Ariel went back to the ocean to live in her kingdom. Prince Eric lived in his kingdom on the surface. And for a while, they're doing their own thing, but you know, things grew bitter. They were a little angry at each other, but they couldn't do very much. Especially during this time, Ariel is getting pretty angry because, you know, as we learned in our last water unit, the oceans are getting pretty polluted. You know, it's getting pretty gross in there. So what's happening for Ariel is there's all this like toxic waste being dumped into the ocean by Prince Eric's kingdom. He didn't just do it to her on purpose, but, you know, it was pretty bad, pretty gross. And unfortunately, this toxic waste started laying some waste to her kingdom, started getting pretty angry. And eventually, Ariel develops superpowers. I know, pretty wild. And what happened is Ariel now has laser vision. And that was pretty cool. So she used that to start, you know, attacking Prince Eric's ships to help save all of her underwater, I was going to say people, but, you know, mermaids, fish, the whole kingdom needed saving. Ariel was their savior, the hero they needed. And one day, Ariel's going about her business, you know, doing her thing, saving the ocean, and she's swimming by the beach, and she sees Prince Eric, and she goes, "Hey, that's the guy who divorced me. Things aren't good. He's, like, killing all my friends. I need to take care of this." So she takes it upon herself to take out Prince Eric. So here's what happens. Ariel shoots her laser vision. I need to get the proper color here first. So she takes her shot. And she fires. Oh, my laser's not going very well here. She fires. Straight at his head. As she sees him. Unfortunately, Ariel was so busy saving the ocean, she wasn't paying attention in her grade 8 science class. And here's what happened. Just like reflection, when we refract things, we have a medium. So with reflection, it's a mirror. On refraction, it's going to be the surface of the objects where those two different densities meet. And what happens is we're going to draw a normal. So this is the line that is perpendicular or 90 degrees to the surface to help us out here. So this is our normal. Obviously, nothing about this is normal. There's laser vision with Disney characters. It's a whole mess right now. But this is our normal. Now, what happens here is the air is less dense than the water. So this beam of light or this ray of light is going to be going from more dense to less dense. And what happens is when light moves from something that is more dense to less dense, it is going to be bending, we say, away from the normal. So it bends away from this normal line, meaning that this light, so this laser beam that Ariel is shooting, need to get my colors straight again, is going to go from the water, and it's going to, if it bend towards normal, it go up. But if it bends away from the normal, it goes down. You can see how the angle gets bigger away from the normal. So her laser fires and it refracts and hits Prince Eric right in his leg. I know, terrible tragedy. Ariel missed her shot, but she had to run away. She was under too much pressure from the rest of Prince Eric's army. But Prince Eric doesn't get out of this unscathed, obviously get hit in the leg. So he loses his leg. I know this is very high budget stuff here. So his leg is gone. Maybe he deserves it, maybe he doesn't. Not for us to decide. These lasers for now. But don't worry, they'll be back. So Prince Eric, very scared from his experience. He's suffering very heavy losses. He's lost his leg. But don't worry, he has technology. He gets himself a new peg leg. I know, not quite as stylish as his real functional human leg, but it works. And he now dedicates all of his army's budget to trying to fight Ariel. So the whole military budget is going to try and track Ariel down so he can get his revenge. And he gets angry, guys. He's very angry. He's upset. He even grows like this really gross, almost piratey like beard. He's unrecognizable. He is so consumed by revenge. He basically becomes a pirate. And eventually, after years of research, his kingdom develops brand new technology, and they jump straight into laser cannons. I know, pretty cool stuff, right? He's like, we gotta fight with our own weapons, so they got a laser cannon. And Prince Eric goes on the hunt, and he goes out looking for Ariel to finish the job. So eventually, after time passes, his beard gets bigger and grosser. He finally finds Ariel, and he fires away at her. So Prince Eric fires, and he's aiming straight for her heart. She broke his heart, he may as well aim for hers, and he fires at her. But once again, common theme with these royal folks, none of them pay attention in grade 8 science class. And what Prince Eric soon learns is that when light goes from the less dense air to the more dense water, light's going to bend towards the normal. What's happening here is the light's going to bend, and it goes towards normal, or closer to this dotted line. That's where the angle is being created, closer to the line. And he fires because he's aiming for her heart. He just misses. Just barely, and unfortunately this is brand new technology. He only gets one shot, he can't fire again. And that's almost the end of our story. But Prince Eric and Princess Ariel realize, this has gone too long, this is consuming our lives, we need to find an end to this conflict. So eventually, they go to counseling, they figure some stuff out, like adults, they stop fighting. Prince Eric agrees to stop polluting the ocean, they work on cleaning it up. No more lasers being fired anymore. Prince Eric goes back, governs his kingdom. Princess Ariel becomes an avenger with her superpowers. And everyone lives happily ever after, but separate lives, which is okay. So as much as you might like that story, the big lesson here is that when light is refracting, if it goes from a more dense to a less dense medium, it is going to be moving away from the normal. So I'll redraw that for you. Let me get my colors figured out again. Oh, there we go. So it'll always been similar to this. And you see here that if light's going from the laser cannon, from less dense air into the more dense water, it moves towards the normal. It bends closer to this 90-degree angle. And if this was being fired from the water, going this direction, it'd be moving away from normal or creating a bigger angle between the laser and the normal. Hopefully that helps you remember, and hopefully you enjoyed the story. If you have any more questions, please email me or your teachers. Have a great day, guys.